Mike Mignola, Eric Canetti, Joe Madureira. There's a certain tier of comic book artists whose visual identity is so distinct and unmistakable you can spot their work 50 cosplay cardboard swords away. That special flair that makes J. Scott Campbell a J. Scott Campbell, that special sauce, that's called style. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter. Now before we get into it, I'd like to thank everyone for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot, and the comments on the previous video were really encouraging. Thanks very much. Okay, let's lay down some definitions just so we're on the same page. We're talking about style, right? But what is style, really? The Oxford Dictionary defines it as the particular way in which something is done. And Merriam-Webster says a distinctive manner of expression. Great. Not vague or amorphous at all. Let's enrich that definition by adding some pop culture examples. So, in movies, the way Steven Spielberg likes to do iconic reaction shots, that's part of his style. J.J. Abrams and his lens flares, Zack Snyder and his extreme slow-mo, you guessed it, that's part of his style. Now, in comics, especially superhero comics, where masks and capes and bright colors get real samey real quick, a distinct style really stands out. You don't realize it right away either. When I was growing up, a lot of artists were very strongly influenced by John Byrne, George Perez, those schools of art, which are great. There's a reason that's the iconic look for 80s comics. In the mid-90s though, I saw a comic on the stand that didn't look like the others. The poses felt cartoony, but still had that graphical detail. And the character designs felt distinctly anime, but these were Marvel characters. This was the first time I spotted a Joe Madureira cover. It was Astonishing X-Men. Up until then, the X-Men comics I had been reading were drawn by the Kubert brothers, who were very much influenced by Jim Lee. Much respect to them, but for my 12-year-old brain, it was like a switch flipped in my head. Comics can look like this? I said. I distinctly remember, too, it was one of the very first instances I cared about the names of the people working on the comics. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I knew, these things just got made in a factory, and that's why they mostly look the same. I'm making so many friends by saying all of this, I can tell. But anyway, Joe Mad was an eye-opener because he was the first to inject this vibrant, anime-like energy into Western comics. Some would argue Arthur Adams did it first, but I think Joe Mad was really the first one to make it an industry-wide phenomenon. So yeah, style gets you recognized, and a distinct, really special style gets you remembered. I would later go on to become a massive Joe Mad fanboy, and to some extent a clone, which is a topic for another day. But anyway, the point is, his style got him eyeballs, and that's awesome. So you might be thinking, but John, didn't you say style sucks and it doesn't matter? Don't worry about it? No, shut up, Thumbnail John. I never said style sucks, stupid. Style is great. Are you kidding? I'd kill to have as distinct a style as like Greg Capullo or Frank Quitely. Having a recognizable style is fantastic. What I'm trying to say is, don't let it be your first problem when you're trying to become a professional artist. It's not job 1. It's not even job 10. It's not even on the list of jobs, honestly. You know what's more important than style? Telling the story. Telling it clearly so that the narrative carries over independent of the word balloons. I'd call that job 1. Job 2, I'd quickly add, is to do job 1 again. Quickly. Over and over again. No, really, job 2, I guess, is consistency. And that is way more important than style as well. I'm not going to sit here and list down what I think the other jobs are in this made-up list, but I hope you get the point. See, I was there too, thinking if I could nail this specific style, I'd have it all figured out. The jobs wouldn't stop coming in. But I realized very quickly that style doesn't really do all that much for you if that's all you have to offer. Especially if we're talking about getting consistent work doing comics. If you spend more time worrying about capturing a distinct look rather than actually telling a story, you've failed. Full stop. So yeah, I'd say style doesn't matter, and I stand by that. Don't worry about style. Worry about storytelling first. Worry about conveying a feeling with the lines rather than how the lines look. Eventually, over hundreds and hundreds of panels, your own unique way of doing things will begin to take shape. But this is only possible by learning and applying the principles of sequential storytelling first. All of that stuff, composition, staging, expression, these are the nuts and bolts of comic book storytelling. The substance, if you will. And at the end of the day, wouldn't you rather have substance over style?